It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi, and welcome to the Forum on Eagle Television. Great having you watching along as our forum program is brought to you by Hayes Med. Our guest today is a Hayes High grad, a Fort Hays State grad, and quite a musician. His name's Max Haverfield. You may have run into him somewhere along the line. Max, good to have you on the program.
Glad to be here.
Now, you know what? Coming up Christmas, you have a great holiday show coming up. But before we talk about that, we're going to make everybody wait for just a second and talk about what's happened to you since you went through Fort Hays, or actually Hayes High, then Fort Hays. You sing a lot. People may have seen that. But what have you been up to recently?
Well, I graduated 2 years ago from Fort Hays and studied classically at Fort Hays. Did a lot of opera at Fort Hays and a couple of programs through the summers. Really enjoyed that. When I graduated, I decided I wanted a little bit more of a modern take on the music that I was doing. So I decided to make a Christmas album, which took a lot of time, maybe more time than I expected. It was all well worth it, but the recording of the music was just sort of the start, and then coming down to layout and design, and so that's been my biggest music deal that I've been doing since Fort Hays. I lived in Hays for another year and a half after that, and then about 6 months ago moved to Kansas City. It's a little bit of a bigger metro for me to pursue some of my music efforts and get in the door with some larger productions and go that way.
You know what, it's always interesting that folks we have on this program because of unique backgrounds and things that they like to do. You mentioned opera at Fort Hays State University. Somehow, I know they have wonderful musicians there, but it doesn't really go hand in hand with opera. What caused you to say, I want to go into opera, of all things? You
know, I went to Hays High, did all the productions there I could, and my sophomore year of high school started studying with Dr. Joseph Pernachero at Fort Hays, wonderful teacher, and he was all classical. We did a little bit of musical theater as well, but and of course a lot of us wanted to do more musical theater, but he was pretty guiding on getting classical roots in us, particularly vocal health, and making sure that your vocal cords are just like the muscles on your arms. You know, you can strain them. You can, if you sing too harshly, they can get too tight and cause you problems. So that led me into opera. You know, opera is the purest form of vocalizing that there is. Opera, a lot of people don't know, is unmiked, and so you're having to sing in a hall between 500 and 4,000 people, and projecting your voice without a mic is quite something to do, and so I took that route because that was the main route at Fort Hays to take, and in looking back, and I still really do enjoy singing in opera and more classical settings, but even when I sing more contemporary stuff, it's been a huge benefit to the longevity. You know, last Christmas I did 6 or 7 concerts in a couple of weeks. It's very hard, you know, to sing maybe 7 hours of concerts and not get exhausted by the end. And I was exhausted, but that helped me make that go longer.
I can't imagine singing one concert, no less, trying to do 7 in a row in opera, which you talk about is, you can listen to that and say, boy, this takes a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of a.
You don't look, you know, sometimes you see opera singers and they're great big and they have great big, you don't seem like you fit that part very well.
Well, that
Are you working on that to bulk up?
Yeah, I've been working to bulk up for the look, but but maybe I'll give it a few more years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do it's equivalent to any other kind of athleticism where you have to, even though they might be bigger people that sometimes you see in opera, they are constantly concerned about their health. They are constantly, you know, not going out late, not having any kind of beverage at the end of the night. I mean, they are very careful with their vocal cords and what they do.
That's how they make their living doing that, and that's part of it. Coming out of college, I don't know if you're making a living doing opera or not, but I assume you're doing some other things to help support that. What else are you up to?
Exactly. Well, I've taught since 2014, taught voice. Got a pretty good studio going in Hayes while I was here, about 10 students, and have been rebuilding that down in Kansas City. Teaching really wasn't something that I intended on doing, and just something that, you know, somebody asked and I said sure. And since then I find myself being a better singer because I have to be self-critical as I demonstrate or help them. So that's one portion, and then along with the music, I also sell real estate in Kansas and Missouri. So,
when you were a little kid growing up, was music one of the things you started out with, or did that happen in high school?
No, it was at the start. I started taking piano lessons at 5. I only did that for a couple of years, but I sang all the way through. My mom's mom, my grandma, she was a drill sergeant on piano, and her kids studied for 13 years in a row. I took it back up in high school and wished, you know, as everybody says, I would have continued with piano, but I did sing. I sang my first solo in church at 6. Give Thanks was the song, and kept doing it. Sang my first big solo in a production in 5th grade at church, and in a musical production, and then just went on from there.
That sounds like fun. Now, did you do opera when you were at age 5 and 6, or did you save that for college?
I started classically studying my sophomore year of high school. Really, in the classical realm, people don't advise you to start studying too seriously until that point, especially, you know, well, women too, but men's voices don't change fully until about 15 or so. So I don't really take students under 8th grade. Yeah, when I was a sophomore, I started going to contests and studying some of those classical principles, and then started doing opera in college.
Well, the reason I kind of go some of your history, because you have a passion for music, you have a passion for doing performances, and that's what you're working on right now. Great little brochure here that talks about your Christmas concert series that you're going to bring here. I know you're going to be involved, but tell us what you're planning to do, because this is in December, correct?
Correct, yeah. We are going to do 4 to 6 concerts. I have 4 certainly lined out, and 2 more that I'm getting hammered down. And the majority of them, 5 of them, are going to be in Northwest Kansas, the last in Kansas City. And me and 6 other friends, several of them from Fort Hays, are going to tour in several towns in Northwest Kansas and put on a Christmas concert. I've always loved Christmas music, and I made the Christmas album, and I thought, what better way to do that than to sing for the people who I've known all my life, and to sing with the people that I've known since college.
Now, when you do that, what kind of music, what kind of Christmas program? There's a lot. There's everything from the Jingle Bell side of things to, you know, the more kind of classic Christmas music. What will you do?
Well, kind of a mixture. It'll have an intermission, and I like to do a lot of the more classic, or just the classic Christmas stuff that you hear, Oh Holy Night, Silent Night, and then some more classical, not necessarily opera, but more classical styled pieces. But then we'll also have several other selections. My friend Carl Pratt, he's a fellow Fort Hays grad and a great musician, and he, I think, will do some of our fun pieces. Carl's a really fun entertainer, and so we'll have some of the more Santa Claus pieces as well interspersed. But on the whole, there will be 4 of us that are singers, 2 on 2 different keyboards, and a cellist. So it will have we'll have the tools to go classical for some of the pieces, and some of them we'll just keep it light.
What kind of venues will you have?
We're kind of split. It'll be several churches, and then we have a couple of private venues too. In Scott and Hoxie, those are both venues that I'll be renting, and in the other towns, they'll be churches.
Does it take different planning to go into the different venues on how you set things up? Obviously, when you're doing the type of music you're doing, you just don't walk in and start singing.
Exactly.
What does it take to do the planning for that?
You know, you're exactly right. It takes a lot of planning. The churches, they view things in a different light than, say, a private venue. So I have to plan accordingly to, you know, the way they want those concerts to go. They're obviously a more Christian setting that might have a different perspective. So trying to make a concert seem like it flows all together and that we don't have to change from venue to venue, and make everybody feel comfortable with it. And then on top of that, you know, the churches are usually pretty good about having a mic system and a piano, but some of the churches that I have aren't that big, and so we'll have to come up with our own resources that way and make sure that they have everything we need.
Let's talk about resource a little bit. How do you make this happen? And then we'll take a break, come back and talk about getting tickets and how to find out how to get tickets. But how do you fund this?
Good question. So primarily what we'll do is get advertisers, sponsors for each venue, and they'll be promoted in different ways for helping support this cause. People who like Christmas. And in my mind, there's a lot of news that maybe isn't as bright and cheery today, and so I'm looking for sponsors that want something that adds a positive vibe. And then on top of that, patrons, you know, patrons that may just want to pay for a ticket, and patrons that say we support the arts and we'd like to make this happen year after year.
One of the things, it is the holiday season, the Christian season, tying in with Christmas music does make a lot of sense. And certainly it's going to be one of those things that during the season it's nice to go out and have an event or a fun evening that you can do. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk with Max here in just a second about how you can go and continue to follow this process, maybe even how you can find tickets to attend one of the events. We'll be back with more after this from Hayes Med.
Hayes Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hayes Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hayes Med, helping people be healthy.
Eagle Communications is your ultimate business partner. We provide business class phone with customizable features and fast, reliable internet. Your knowledgeable team at Technology Solutions has a broad base of IT services to meet your needs. Let the experts at Marketing Solutions get your message to the right people on the best platforms. The only piece missing is your business. Call Eagle Communications today at 877-61-EAGLE.
Welcome back to the second half of our Forum program here on Eagle TV. Our program is brought to you by Hayes Med. If you have any questions about today's program, want some follow-up information, or if you have some ideas for future programs, send them to me at gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. You can also go online on Facebook. We're on Facebook under ECTV, and you'll find us there at Facebook. Send us a note, and we'll hook up and see if we can either follow up or put some future programs on for you. Our guest, Max Haverfield. Max is Hayes High grad, Fort Hays grad, and we've been talking about his musical interests starting at age 5. Right now he's working on a concert series that, if I have my date right, is going to start December 13th for Christmas, and it's going to go through the holiday season. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
So in Hayes, it's the 13th at the Presbyterian Church.
Yeah, exactly. Hayes is kind of what I'm considering our flagship concert. This is the core of where our group is from. We've got 4 Fort Hays grads, as well as a former Fort Hays professor, and a lot of people here that I think, I hope will come. And then there will be at least 3 and possibly 4 other concerts in Northwest Kansas that'll follow that one. And those dates will be available on my Facebook and website, maxhaverfield.com.
All right, one of the things you talk about, the Presbyterian Church, is a beautiful facility. It'll be during the holiday season, even though here we are early, or end of summer, but early fall. Talking about Christmas seems like a long ways away. It is going to be here. Somebody does want to find out. You mentioned your maxhaverfield.com website, correct?
Right.
What's your Facebook? Because I know you're on Facebook somewhere as well.
The Facebook page, you can, of course, get in touch with me directly just on my personal, which is Max Haverfield. Just type that into your Facebook search, or Max Haverfield Baritone is going to be where you'll find dates and more information regarding the concerts and information on that. And then also tickets, how to get those will be on that Facebook page, as well as on my website, maxhaverfield.com.
You know, that might be something companies are out there, somebody has individuals that buy tickets for some people on their team, be able to do some things like that as well to enjoy the holiday season. And 13th is right a couple weeks before Christmas, gives a good chance for people to get in the holiday spirit.
I think so. I always enjoy doing a concert towards the beginning of Christmas to be kind of that kickoff concert that everybody comes in, maybe hasn't had much of a holiday experience yet, and when they come in, they're ready, they're excited for the next few weeks.
What's your favorite Christmas song?
It's got to be "O Holy Night." That's a winner, and I've sung it since I was in high school. Probably people who have listened to me have heard enough of it, but it's got to be my favorite.
All right, it's fun. What a great start to the holiday season here, even though we're early fall, late summer getting this thing started. Hope you get a chance to not only get online, get a ticket, but to enjoy the concert series that starts on December 13th. Max, thanks for being on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Max Haverfield has been our guest on the Forum program here on Eagle Television. The Forum is brought to you by Hayes Med and by Eagle Communications, our community connected.